All right, welcome everyone to the first information session. Really excited to have you here today. Feel free to share where you're coming from in this world in the chat. And I hope you're having some quality time with families during the holidays. So the purpose of this webinar is to announce where we're hosting the Mars Summer Program, to discuss the application requirements and details, and to have an open dialogue and Q&A together. Unfortunately, a few of our faculty members won't be able to make it today, but rest assured, there will be more interaction with the faculty after you're admitted. And we'll be taking questions after our speakers are done presenting, and we'll upload this entire presentation to YouTube and send it to you afterward. Here's an agenda. I'll be speaking first about the program overview, the scholarships and financial aid, and the demography of student interest. Then Bruce McKenzie, our co-founder, will speak more to the exciting host partner announcement, location and details, and hopefully Nadeem will be joining us soon to discuss more about the application requirements and process. And then after that, we'll have a open discussion and Q&A. Okay. So here's the summer program. It'll be about a detailed technical overview on the science and technologies and of the pre and post arrival activities on the Martian surface. It'll be from July 5th to August 9th, and there will be 36 enrolled students with over 6 faculty and a lot of renowned guest speakers and lecturers. And so the 4 courses will mostly be in person with some online coursework and lectures. You do not need U.S. citizenship to participate. This program is open to people from all backgrounds and nationalities and majors. So one of the questions was, what are the courses? So we'll have 4 courses here. The first one being Mars 101. It provides a more detail about the fundamental basics of Mars and the pre, current, and future activities and of enabling a sustainable settlement. Economics and governance may be included along with propulsion and energy requirements and rocketry and human factors. The 3 other courses will largely be based from your interest in the areas of study and applications. And so our faculty will be finalizing what courses we'll be offering in the coming months, and along with the course descriptions and a lot more detail. And yeah, let's see. And let's see. So before we get to the exciting host partner announcement, someone asked a question: how will the summer program at MarsU benefit our space career? So we'll be providing an industry relevant certificate. It will be initially unaccredited and possibly transferable to other institutions if they accept the credit transfer. Employers, I think later down the road, as we converge upon becoming a multiplanetary species, employers will increasingly value this certificate. And at the core of this, you're really going to learn and train how to be a Martian, and we'll really equip you with the knowledge and network to really go out there and conduct your own research that will push humanity forward to a new frontier. And I think the possibilities are endless. And that this program is really what you make out of it. So here are 6 wonderful faculty. Dr. Shannon Rupert, she's our co-founder and the director at MDRS, and she's very knowledgeable about ecology and analog operations, and she's faculty lead and faculty for astrobiology, and she's might teach Mars 101 as well. And Dr. Catherine Bywaters, she's a research scientist. She just got promoted to, hired and promoted at Honeybee Robotics. And so she's very knowledgeable in life detection, instrumentation, and analog research. And unfortunately, Dr. Ilaria Sinelli couldn't make it here today. She was actually performing a surgery recently over there in Italy, and hopefully she'll be joining us on the next information session. And so Dr. Ilaria is faculty for biomedical engineering. And then Dr. John Clark, he is very knowledgeable about the geology on Mars and has something over 40 to 100 or so publications about Mars, and so John is also planning to help teach Mars 101. And Dr. Graham Law, he's a research scientist at Blue Marble Space, and he's incredibly intelligent about astrobiology. And there's Dr. Daniel Tompkins, who brings over 18 years of experience in agriculture science as applied to space and Mars. And so he's the faculty for agriculture. And then we're also in discussions with a gentleman by the name of Alex, who may help teach Mars engineering and manufacturing. We should be speaking with them in the next few days, and we're excited and looking forward to continue those conversations. And before we go to the next slide, I'll hand off the microphone and baton to Mr. Bruce McKenzie here to announce where we'll be hosting this program.
Thank you, Cole. So Cole, go ahead to the next slide, and then if you could, after slide 5, show slide 7, and then come back to 5.
Okay.
5, 7, 5. Okay, so because of COVID, there was too much uncertainty to hold it on a college campus where we had academic facilities, but we have a wonderful opportunity to hold it at the Mars Desert Research Station, MDRS. This is owned and operated by the Mars Society, and Shannon Rupert is the director of it. And let's see, it's in Utah, southwest corner of Utah, in a very isolated area that looks an awful lot like Mars. Cole, if you could go on to slide 7. They've been running programs, so here's an aerial view of the facilities. We will also have some kind of classroom and area, seminar rooms, something. They will probably be in an air-conditioned tent just around the hillside from this. But MDRS is a mock-up of a Mars habitat as might be first delivered to Mars. It's 8 meters wide and 2 floors high. That's in the center. I guess you can't see my cursor, it doesn't matter. And then it's connected. So it's a simulated Mars base as might be first established. There's a science dome down in the lower right. There's an observatory in the upper right. There is a greenhouse. I had the pleasure or opportunity or notoriety of helping take apart the first greenhouse, which had almost rolled away in the Utah winds, and help construct the second one. And then there are simulated tunnels. We pretend that the hab is pressurized and all these tunnels are pressurized. Students may have, okay, we're pretty sure students will have the opportunity to be in sim, meaning you are simulating a short Mars mission. We'll probably take turns, might be a few days each, where you are inside the hab, and the simulation rules say you cannot go outside without your pressure suit on. And other rules as if you were on a mission to Mars. Let's see, and I've noticed already we have a confusion between English and metric units. Some of these things are 8 meters across and some of them are 12 feet across. So that's one of the problems that Mars University is going to have to deal with, is coordinating international efforts. So Cole, go back to the slide 5, I think. Let's see. Back one more. I just want to make sure I didn't miss anything. So you will have the opportunity to try out the simulated spacesuits and simulated extravehicular activities, EVAs. They have ATVs, little 4-wheel rovers. And you can do pretend, I shouldn't say pretend, simulated field work as if you were on Mars, going around and doing, collecting geologic samples, taking them back to the hab and analyzing them with the science equipment. Let's see, field. So I think that's everything. Oh, during the winter, crews of 6 typically spend 2 or 3 weeks here, and you are welcome to volunteer for a crew, whether or not you are in Mars University. It's helpful if the commanders of each 2-week mission have experience at MDRS or with Mars University. Okay, it's down a dirt road from the highway and 7 miles from Hanksville. Okay, so go on to the next slide. And I think, yeah, this is an aerial view of Hanksville. It's a very, very small town. We are expecting to rent at least 4 houses in town, most of which are very close together. And as a student, we would be staying in one of these rental houses. And many days we would go by van the 7 miles off to MDRS. Let's see. It's not as hot as you might expect, and it's pretty dry. Some typical summer temperatures are 37 centigrade and, I can't read the slide, 18 to 37 centigrade, 61 to 99 Fahrenheit. 4,000 feet above sea level, so a little more than 1,000 meters above sea level. But this is the entire town. It's only got 200 people, several dozen houses, and there's a couple motels and a general store that we also will be using. There's a river running through it. It's an hour's drive from the nearest airport, and about 3 hours drive south of Salt Lake City. Go into the next slide. So I think we've pretty much covered this. The ATVs are little 4-wheel vehicles for 1 person there in the lower left. And then the next slide shows an interior of the habitat. So on the left is the main floor of the habitat, 8 meters across. There are 2 simulated air locks, utilities, toilets, and then the upper part of on the left is the biology and geology lab. There's counters and scientific equipment. I don't know what equipment is there any given month. In the past, they've had microscopes, centrifuges, chemical analysis. And then in the lower right is the upper, it's the living space and bunk rooms. It's the same diameter. It's also 8 meters, so we just made it smaller. The upper part of the upper floor is common space, dining room, kitchen, food prep. And then there are these very narrow bunk rooms. The bunk rooms are just wide enough to stand in with a desk, and then you have a bunk either knee height or shoulder height. And the upper right is a cross section. So this is a cutaway or what you might call an elevation. It's not a floor plan, but you see there are 6 bunk rooms across, and where you sleep is either above or below where someone else sleeps. This is actually very accurate to what it might be in living in habitats brought from Earth. And we're not taking questions right now, but we'll be happy to go back to this if you need to. And Cole, isn't there one more slide I'm talking to or not? Okay. All right. So anyway, we will be having MarsU at MDRS. There will be various classroom and seminar activities for the first few weeks, and then we will transition into workshops, at least 3 different workshops. I think they're covered later in it. I will probably be coordinating a workshop on materials, construction, and architecture. I didn't introduce myself. I founded the Mars Foundation. I designed masonry architecture and other permanent structures for Mars. My masonry was written up in Kim Stanley Robinson's Red Mars. He called it Underhill. And we can have a workshop basically designing a permanent settlement built from local materials. Some of the designs we've had in the past assume that we had, say, a solar furnace producing fiberglass and chemical processing producing polyester and doing 3D printing and laser cutting. So that's the kind of workshop that you would have an option of doing. Cole, let me pass it back to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I think the location of Hanksville and MDRS, there are a lot of exciting places to visit nearby, and it's a wonderful geologic analog for Mars. And so we're envisioning a lot of exciting weekend field excursions all around as well. And I'm stoked. I don't know how many of you guys have been to MDRS, but this will be my first time, so I'm really excited, and I hope you guys are as well. I think it'll be a learning experience for a lot of us. So to speak more on the scholarships and financial aid and fundraising. So we touched briefly about this during the Mars Society convention around a month ago. So the payment plans will be made on a case-by-case basis, and the tuition price will likely be around $7,500 to $9,500, and we're thinking it might be closer towards $7,500. And now that we know where this program is going to be, we can start putting the pieces of the puzzle together in terms of quantifying the exact amount of tuition. We're in discussions and waiting to hear back about some pricing quotes for lodging, and we're still in discussions about the meal plan costs, and we should have a more exact estimate in the coming months, definitely. And so we've been trying pretty hard to help provide you guys some scholarships. We've reached out to around 10 or so organizations and agencies. We haven't had much luck yet, and this is kind of a this is our first time doing this, and so we're kind of it's we're new to this field and in terms of introductions between organizations. I'm fairly optimistic we'll be able to provide at least a few scholarships. Yeah, go on to the next slide. So here's a slide on designing a curriculum vitae for Mars. We came to the realization that crafting a resume to apply to be an early settler is optional, primarily because we realized that some of our interested students might not actually want to live and work on Mars. They might be more interested in helping out the initiative through research or other modes of helping out. But if you are, if you do plan to tailor your resume as if you're applying to be an early settler, it would be very much intertwined with the second essay question, which was what position and crew are you applying for on a manned mission? And this is primarily because your research, specialization, and accomplishments should all kind of harmonize together toward the position you're applying toward. I think the essay question, gets us a lot of us thinking in terms of geez, like what would be our actual purpose on Red Planet in terms of helping out the crew, and so other possible skills and experiences that might be beneficial to include is physical and mental health and exercise, scuba diving, analog missions, the vegetarian diet, and team performance. How well do you perform with your colleagues in close environments for long periods of time, and then really the cross-functional skill sets to pretty much be a handyman to solve the challenging problems that might arise, and then virtual public speaking as well. So yeah, we'll be very interested to see what you guys come up with. And here's a slide on the responses from our student interest survey. You'll see a lot of us are interested in learning the Mars engineering and manufacturing. Coming just below that was the Mars geology and astrobiology, Mars human factors in health, and the architecture and settlement design. So I think it's likely that the areas of study that are of less interest would likely be incorporated more into the Mars 101 course. But it also depends on what areas of interest you guys choose in your applications. And it was awesome, really excited to have people from 44, I think 41 countries apply. So this will truly be in embracing the international community. Yeah, go on to the next slide. And here's the more input from the interest survey in terms of this is from the section on the input and comments section of the interest survey. You'll see engineering, settlement, robotics, governance, ISRU, energy, Starship, health, biomedical. I think there's a lot of potential here and a lot of opportunity for a lot of us to really make a meaningful contribution to these fields. Thanks everyone for a lot of your positive feedback and inspiration for MarsU. It really means a lot, and it keeps our team going. and here's some upcoming events. We're having our second information session in a few weeks, and on December 11th for Australia, Asia, and the Middle East. And then we've started a new seminar series we're looking forward to developing, and so we'll be hosting a panel on robotics and exploration as applied toward Mars later in December. And in addition to a virtual donor gala in late January. And so if you're interested or know someone who might be interested in attending that, please let us know. Let's see. And I think that's it for the slides. Yeah, cool. I'll stop sharing my screen.
Cole, I have answered a few of the questions in the Q&A by typing in. Let's see. So do you want me to find some questions that were asked previously and then come back to this?
Sure, yeah, let's see.
I'm jumping around. Okay, here's my window. Okay, Anna asked, how can we involve emerging countries to be involved in the process? Well, people are welcome from around the world, but Cole, do you want to give a full answer?
Sure, yeah.
Emerging countries.
Yeah, thanks for your question, Anna. I think there is already a fair amount of interest from emerging and developing countries, and so I think we're naturally on a trajectory to help make this more inclusive and spreading the love around the world, and I think we're also in discussions about providing a separate online education program that might be able to really enhance our knowledge about creating a habitable world on Mars, and so there could be some synergy there with developing countries, and we're definitely interested in expanding and maybe having some faculty from emerging countries, or in terms of organizing an online program, or possibly shorter courses and programs as well. So it's in the back of our mind.
But the important thing is, please apply no matter what country, no matter what background you have. Entry 76 from Christian says, has the university, okay, is Mars University a degree awarding institution? Is the certificate or credit transferable? So the answer is no, we do not award degrees. We cannot, we're not yet accredited. It's a brand new organization. You will receive a certificate that says you attended and completed the course. As for transferring, you can try to arrange with a faculty member in your home university as if you were doing independent studies, or as if you were doing a workshop outside of the university. And it depends on your home university. Where I went to school, a faculty member would have to sign off and sit and look at the curriculum, look at the activities, and say, yes, this deserves credit, and what kind of credit. And you may have to pay tuition to your home university. Cole, do you have anything to add about granting degrees or certificates of credit?
No, I think you it's spot on. Yeah, I think this program might eventually be transferable. It kind of depends on if your intended host institution is willing to accept the credits from the courses taken. But it's initially unaccredited. Yeah. What's next question?
Question 73 from something, a pop-up window came in front of it. Aaron, sorry about pronunciation. It would be great if prospective faculty and instructors will be in touch and have discussions before Mars University is going to be commenced. So yes, you can feel free to write us. One of the ways to get in touch with us is email. I'll type it into the chat later, but it's info, info @mars.university. So either before you send in your application, after we know who will be attending, there certainly will be interaction with everybody. We are still in the process of designing the courses and the workshops, and we especially want suggestions of who should be guest lecturers. We can easily have a presentation with some of the leaders in the field from around the world. Most of those would be remote. Cole, anything else about being in touch and discussions?
Yeah, I think that's a really important component of this program we're organizing, in terms of some solid communication before, during, and after with faculty, and so I think the first student group chat will really help initiate that dialogue in terms of how you guys want to interact together, and will also help coordinate the communication through surveys after you're admitted yeah.
Cole, if you want to make up, if you want to pick a question, go ahead. I'm
Okay.
switching windows to the
Okay.
interactive questions from people.
Okay.
Okay, I'll just repeat one. I've already answered this in the Q&A box. Will we be staying at MDRS then? The activities will be around, in, or near MDRS. Some will be inside the habitat, the science dome, the greenhouse. Some will be in EVA suits, walking around nearby or traveling short distances. Field work without suits on, plus there'll be the big air-conditioned tent just around the corner, just out of sight of MDRS. There's a nice hill to block the view. But lodging will be in Hanksville, in the rented houses, or possibly in hotels. Cole, anything else?
Yes, yeah, those 4 houses. Yeah, I think I believe a majority of the coursework will be at MDRS, and yeah, we're still figuring out the layout plan and other possible facilities that may be beneficial toward hosting a class or a workshop.
Yeah, and if you have suggestions, we're still working on this. We could use help with a lot of the background work and logistics. A question from Ryan McDonald. I tried answering this in the chat. What is the expected prior background for students, i.e. prerequisites in math, science, and computing? I gave a brief answer saying any background is acceptable. You're expected to have completed at least 2 years of college. We're tailoring it for graduate students, but we expect a lot of early career professionals. Someone else said he was retired. You are welcome to apply. You probably have a different perspective for people. And I especially would like people from, even though we expect a lot of engineering and technical and scientific oriented people, it's important to have a diverse group of people. So no matter what your background is, please apply. We could use artists, novelists, teachers, historians, any kind of liberal arts, people with a business background, entrepreneurial. Cole?
Yeah, it was hit it spot on. Thanks.
Okay.
I did want to speak to another question that was asked in the sign up form. Someone was asking about the research opportunities on site, and I think there are a lot of different research that could come out of this program, and there's I kind of see three synergies and ways that research might be developed. One being through the advanced workshops, and we're going to plan so that you can register and attend these workshops and working groups on site, and student team projects over the course of the 5 weeks. You'll work with a team, and you guys will really develop and commit toward one idea, and then we'll also be posting more details about what the student team projects might look like in terms of a timeline and in the coming months. And then there's also a third component of the research on site with the crewed mission, in terms of the 3-day analog mission that you would do on site with a crew at MDRS. And so Bruce was mentioning a lot of the research facilities they have, and yeah, so there's the green hab, there's an engineering lab, there's a biology lab. And then now that we have a host partner in location, our team is starting to work out the details, and Dr. John Clark was discussing about some exciting technology and equipment he's definitely interested in, and so I think the faculty are discussing about renting out equipment that would be used for both education and research purposes. And so there could be some synergy there in terms of helping them develop the research, or possibly your own research. I think if you're also interested in conducting your own research during this program, that you could also possibly weave this into your own application. And there's another question about testing with materials. Yeah, I kind of spoke to that earlier about the equipment we're considering. But there's also a local field testing research. And we're still working out the details. But you could potentially bring your own research and materials in, and equipment as well, but definitely come prepared knowing what you want to do, and then you can also discuss with the admitted students in the group chat too. Yeah, we're really excited and think that there could be a lot of stellar research developed from our students and faculty. So.
Hi, there are so many good questions. I have no idea which one to take, but the top one I'm looking at is, I'm a research associate in the Space Room now, and it goes on to ask about application process. But I want to mention, we expect a lot of the students will already have done some kind of research project, maybe in school, maybe for a company they're working for, maybe on their own. So if you have a presentation that you have given, I personally am hoping that we can let you give your presentation around the second into the first week of Mars University, and good way to get to know each other and find out what each other have done and how to build on it. So Yeah, 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 we do expect a lot of people who have already done a lot of work related to Mars or space or living in extreme environments to apply. Um, let's see. It says, hello from London. You mentioned remote learning. This summer program is intended primarily for the students who are on site in Utah. And we do hope to do more remote learning. Some of the things may be broadcast, but we will be catering it to those who are in person. Let's see. Two questions next to each other. One says, suggestion would be, this is from Riasa. It'd be good if you could provide all this information on your webpage. And the next question is, anything that we as attendees can help you with. And these go together. We need help. We have a lot of information that we can post. I mentioned logistics, so contact us if you want to help. And one of the help could be is to help post stuff on the webpage. So, Cole, do you want to pick out a question and answer it? And James, you can jump in too if you want.
Okay. And yes, right. So that's a wonderful suggestion. We should definitely include this information on our website and web pages. We'll be sure to update things.
Okay, I wanted to save this question for last, but Ryan gets two questions in. Ryan McDonald, what is the long-term vision for Mars University? How do you envision the program changing in future years? I am going to go off on my favorite rant, which is this could really take off. Mars is a frontier, and once we get there, once we have the ability to manufacture and grow and live on the surface of Mars, it will just take off. We have every chemical element needed to live. We have solar energy. We could have nuclear energy if we want it. And a settlement will just keep growing. And I could see Mars University being the focal point for people who want to go to Mars or those who want to stay on Earth but help out. Even after a lot of people are there, the first people will be too busy to take courses. But when they're in transit, they might be quite bored and either on the way out or the way back be taking remote courses. Here on Earth with COVID, we have learned to do remote education. All of the school kids in this generation are learning about, how to do, take classes via Zoom, etc. But there'll be a time delay in the outer solar system. So if you're in transit to Mars, you can't just interact quickly with a teacher back on Earth or with your classmates back on Earth. And I could see Mars University catering to those people on Mars or in transit to Mars who are bored stiff while they're traveling. And then later establish a satellite campus on Mars and then the main campus on Mars. And Mars University would be the solar system-wide expert in time-delayed learning. And then there'll be people out prospecting the asteroids and servicing the asteroid minings, and they will be attending courses offered by Mars University. So that's my vision, is that it really could take off and be the first university beyond the Earth. I'm not putting down the moon. The moon is a great place for resources and tourism and solar power and other things, but I don't see a university that needs to be on Luna because it is so close to Earth, both in travel time and communication time.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Cole.
That was beautiful, Bruce. Bruce is really leading the long-term vision and inspiration for us here. And yeah, I think it's an excellent question, Ryan. I think we really want to create a self-sustaining ecosystem that can really enable the research necessary to create a self-sustaining settlement on Mars, and really, reduce the costs, improve health, and improve the overall experience and adventure, and learning in terms of retainment. And yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe one day we'll definitely be interested in operating a school on Mars or something. That's a long ways down the road.
Um, Everybody is welcome to type in the chat. You can address it to all panelists and attendees, and chat with each other. I have questions from 3 different sources, and I'm jumping around, so I apologize if I miss any questions. Also, feel free to throw in your hometown and country in the chat addressed to panelists and attendees. Oh, someone named Chris Leitch said, what are some of the geotechnical challenges of building on Mars? This was a question submitted in advance. The word geotechnical could mean different things, but the challenges of building on Mars, it's mostly getting the equipment there to do the construction. But the regolith, or the dirt on Mars, is very similar to dirt you have here on Earth. A lot of it is pulverized basalt. And then there's the dust that's been blowing around. And from that, you can make fiberglass, spun basalt, cast basalt. It would be hard to extract useful metals efficiently because we probably do not have like iron ore deposits. But we can do much of the same construction that you can on Earth. My personal favorite construction material would be spun basalt bonded with polyester. You can bring an inflated tent from Earth and then bind big composite cylinders and join them together to make a town. This might be the topic of the workshop I'll be running. But you basically have to recreate the minimum part of the Earth's industry in order to start construction. And once you do that, then you can just keep building from there. And a lot of the work can be done indoors. So, it's not quite as challenging as you want, as you would expect. It's mostly just miniaturizing and getting lightweight equipment there that can then be used to build other equipment. It's fairly easy to produce plastics and polymers on Mars. They can be produced from plants in multiple ways. You can also drill down into an adjacent ice deposit, and I'm sure we will be next to an ice deposit, melt out the water, make hydrogen, so electrolyze it to get hydrogen. And then hydrogen and the carbon dioxide from the air will, with a catalyst, will spontaneously make methane. Methane can be one of the precursor chemicals for making ethylene and polyethylene. High density polyethylene can be fed straight into a 3D printer. You can make other plastics and extrude sheets and use a laser cutter, injection molding. So anyway, there are challenges building on Mars, but they are mostly getting the initial equipment there. And then, as I said, figuring out what's the minimum equipment needed to start building. And even if you never help out with people going to Mars, never set foot on Mars yourself, a lot of these challenges will be similar to what they have on Earth. So people in a remote village in another part of the world could also benefit from some of the building techniques with minimal equipment. So anyway, thank you, Chris, for that question.
Yes. I wanted to discuss another question that was proposed by Ms. Rachel Jones. The question was, is there a COVID plan, and what might happen for a country or state lockdown, and do you require a pre-screening? So Rachel, we've discussed about creating a COVID plan, and we'll definitely have a solid set of procedures and protocols to address the pandemic and to mitigate the spread of disease, and and we're considering infrared thermometer check-ins throughout the program, and where our fingers are crossed that a country such as the U.S. or a state won't go on lockdown. I don't believe that will be likely, and but we'll definitely ensure a transparency and through communication to our students in terms of enabling a COVID plan. So we'll let you guys know.
Yes, so the COVID contingencies are still up in the air, and no matter what we plan, we have to be able to change it at the last minute. We are hoping that there will be a vaccine. We could conduct it socially distanced with face masks. This is all still up in the air. And if there is, basically if it's too dangerous to have, we could postpone to the next summer. But please let us know, and please contact us and apply, and we'll figure out the COVID plan when more information is available.
There's another question from Evo Georgie. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong. His question is how are the educational materials sourced and curated?
Well, okay, Shannon has selected people with academic teaching experience from around the world. John is from Australia. We have connections in Italy. And each of these faculty members will be planning a course. So anyway.
They're definitely our faculty are definitely leaders in their field, and so we inherently trust the decisions they'll make in terms of what they're including in their courses and curriculum, and I think the students can also share their feedback on the educational materials too, and good question.
Multiple questions about finance, tuition, scholarship, and I'm kind of jumping. Someone added a question and all the other questions scrolled off the screen. Anyway, someone was asking, can Mars University help prospective students find scholarships, tuition, etc.? Yes, contact us. If you are if your employer might be willing to sponsor you, we can give you materials to help with that. There might be local companies in whatever country you were in that may be totally unaware of Mars University. We can help you contact the companies that are local to you asking for scholarships. So please contact us. Let us help you. We definitely want to give scholarships as much as possible. There may be some full scholarships. There will be some kind of deposit put down so that we know you're serious. And there also might be ways that you can help out in exchange for, say, room and board. There are legal problems with giving full Okay, there are legal questions of whether we can give full scholarships to, say, teaching assistants or not. We're still trying to work that out. But contact us at info@mars.university. There is no .org or .com on the end of our email address. I just put it in the chat, info@mars.university, or through the webpage.
Okay. Let's go through the question. It's a question on from Marcel Clerks. What will be the essence of the human factors in health module? I wish Ilaria was here to speak more to this question, but I think from my intuition and our conversations that this area of study will essentially address the the previous, current, and breakthrough technologies in terms of monitoring the data from our bodies, and then analyzing that data, but then also the practices along the way that will help sustain the mission and improve the health of the crew, and I think it's really all inclusive, and then also in terms of the health risks and that are posed upon the crew, and the possible protocols of mitigating health hazards, and there's a lot that goes into that one, but we'll be sure to address that in the course description in a few months.
We've been going for just under an hour. Let's try to answer a couple more questions in the remaining 3 minutes, and Cole and I can stay on longer, I think, but we should be aware of the time. So if there's any burning questions, type them or retype them in the Q&A.
Okay.
If you can't find that, go to the chat. Those of you, if you're not used to Zoom, go to the bottom of the Zoom window and move your cursor back and forth. You should see Q&A and chat.
There's a question from an anonymous attendee. What are the specific goals of these courses and research? I think the goals are kind of what we're all considering and what we all have in mind in terms of what we want to learn from the course. But I think the fundamental goal of each course is to provide a foundation of knowledge that will enable you to converse swiftly in this field and really learn that multidisciplinary mindset that you need if you were to find yourself on an expedition to Mars.
Yeah, so Mars University is for anybody interested in Mars or wants to help people go to Mars or wants to go to Mars themselves. But also applicable if you're interested in extreme environments, anything related to space, Antarctica, ocean, or creative construction. Another question from a person, the same person named Anonymous, related to an extended stay in proposed MDRS expeditions incorporated into Mars University. So MDRS, throughout the winter and spring months, runs a series of typically 2-week missions. There are typically 6 people on each crew and a crew support team where they come from. The teams tend to come from around the world. There's been a lot of juggling because of COVID, a lot of crews delayed, and we had to cancel the entire season this past winter because so many crews could not come safely. Ironically, once you're at MDRS, you're completely isolated in terms of COVID. But contact Shannon, who's the director of our faculty, and she is also the director and scheduler for MDRS. And she can try to help you find a crew that you can join. I believe we're booked out more than a year now. So many crews had to postpone. And there's consideration for arriving early or staying late. That would be awkward, but certainly attending Mars University would give you a leg up on forming your own crew or joining your crew later. People who have been on MDRS crews are welcome to apply to Mars University. It will be quite different from what you experienced. And with the person who asked this question is welcome to contact us with more details. Anybody about your question?
There's a question from Shireen here about would the organizing team be able to help students find other sources of funding, funding for their tuition, like suggesting external scholarships? I'm not quite sure what external scholarships might be available, but definitely poke around. I think there might be some space organizations and agencies who would see value in what we're doing, and let us know. We might be able to help you in your ask for an external scholarship.
It's been exactly 1 hour. I know a lot of you have other things to do. Cole, any last minute conclusion? And as I said, I can stay on as long as James keeps the Zoom open.
Hey, yeah, there's a question from Meho. That's how you pronounce your name. I think, I think Meho proposes, do we want to start something like a learning group or group chat? I think that would be awesome. I think that would be exciting. We could consider Slack or something. Yeah, we'll discuss internally and about creating some kind of group chat for everyone, possibly on Slack or another platform, and we'll let you know.
Oh, actually, there's a couple other things. I am running the Mars Foundation. We want to do some research and design projects separately that can be done remotely. James Burke, who you see in the Zoom picture there, is active in a number of organizations, including the Moon Society. They're right at the conclusion of a Living on the Moon contest. I think the deadline is right about now, so that might be too late. The Mars Society at marssociety.org often has activities. You can be in they finished their second city design contest. I don't think there's a follow-on contest. National Space Society has chapters around the US. That's nss.org. So nss.org, marssociety.org, Moon Society, and then our address again is info@mars.university.
Okay, I think we've answered a lot of questions here. And
yeah.
I think thanks everyone for staying on. I really appreciate
it very much.
Time today. It's exciting. And, we look forward to seeing your applications and the next steps.